we've all heard of hate crimes, of course. I'm sure many of the viewers at home have heard of a non-crime hate incident. And for those that haven't, I'm going to just read quickly from this FIRE website, which explains about the UK's police speech and how that all works. It says, under the 2014 guidelines, police are required to log any non-crime hate incidences brought to them by a member of the public. No questions asked, and the guidance states the victim does not have to justify or provide evidence of their belief, and police officers or staff should not directly challenge this perception. Evidence of the hostility is not required. In other words, police have no obligation to investigate the veracity of the claims, and in many instances, police do not even inform those accused of committing the non-crime hate instances of the complaint against them. We were just talking off camera about how crimes or the police in the UK have just gone down this social revolutionary path and how things have changed. I'm sure everyone is very aware of these types of crimes or non-crimes. So I decided to compile a list for this segment for you to react to and the people at home. A list of 5 of the most absurd non-crimes in Britain for the past, say, 5 years. So it should be fun. But before we get started, however, in conjunction with this podcast, you should become a premium member of the Lotus Eaters for more content. And I wanted to promote a particular analysis that coincides with what we are talking about in a way. And that's how the Home Office is hiding anti-white hate crimes and aiding the cover-up of grooming gangs, which arguably is one of the most important topics that a majority of this country are actively avoiding to talk about, which is shameful in my view.
Do such crimes exist?
How do you mean?
Crimes against white people?
Well, according to many in government and on the left, no, that does not exist, and that you cannot be racist or hateful towards white people. So that's kind of it. But do check out this article published by Ella Hill. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's very well written, and it touches on so many important points that we need to, of course, know, as depressing as it is. So are you ready? I don't want to spoil.
I am, but I want to ask you
Of course.
something.
Yes,
before.
of course.
So when people are talking about hate crime, is there any kind of any other kind of crime? Is it love crime?
Love crime.
What is it?
Depressive crime. Yeah, so hate crime is to do with either a prejudice against someone, apparently. To me, I'm a bit of a free speech absolutist. I say a bit of, I am. So I don't believe you should go to prison or the law should be involved with regards to hateful speech unless you are inciting violence. Whatever idea it may be, the community should make up their minds on whether they deem that acceptable or not, and the law should not be involved. That's my view on it. So,
I'm ready.
Are you ready for the first one?
Let's say it's crimes that are hatefully, that have a
hateful agenda behind
them. Okay,
but these are so absurd that they're not even crimes, and they're not even logged as crimes. Yeah. So the first one is an Irishman was arrested in the UK. You may know this story for causing anxiety by retweeting the pride flag swastika meme. So have you seen the pride flag swastika meme? Have you seen that?
Of course.
Yeah, that's quite a famous sort of meme. This actually happened where police officers went to this guy's house, as you can see, to handcuff him for retweeting this meme on Twitter.
Please, my delicate sentimentality, have you thought of me? I mean,
I think they might show it in the... Let's read a bit more about the story. If we could just scroll down just a little bit more, if that's all right. So police in the UK have criticised themselves after a Dubliner was arrested for, quote, causing anxiety by retweeting a meme of a swastika made out of pride flags. Darren Brady, 51, who was born and bred in the capital, slammed Hampshire police after he was handcuffed at his home in Aldershot on Friday. The British Army veteran served 30 years, including tours of duty in Afghanistan, Iraq, Bosnia, and Northern Ireland. Footage shared social media showed an officer who told Mr. Brady he was being apprehended because his post had caused anxiety and reported to authorities. I mean, how absurd is that you can...
I mean, what about drivers?
Drivers?
Yeah. So all of them, you could say, cause anxiety on other people.
True. That's very true.
You're driving and you are cautious of what is going down the road. And every rider should cause anxiety to you because every driver is presenting a threat, a possible threat.
It's true. And what constitutes causing anxiety? I mean, I get nervous sometimes if I have to go on a show or like a segment, and I know that someone is going to, of course, either debate me or talk down against me. Could I get someone arrested just for causing me anxiety? I don't think so.
That's where the progressive agenda is going, though.
Exactly, yeah.
It matters who is anxious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You could say that not everyone's anxiety counts the same.
I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. So it has made the list of the top 5. So that was number 5. Number 4 is next. Keep males out of women-only spaces. A sticker picture investigated as a hate crime, not for sticking the sticker, but for taking a photo of the sticker and putting it online. I'm sure you guys have seen this. Pensioner has been questioned and given a long lecture by police for taking an image of a slogan over fears of causing harassment and alarm. I mean, it's like Progressive Minority Report is what it is. So they're preempting that someone may feel harassed or anxious.
But what did she say there? I'm curious to see the lady's response when they are. She could say, "Well, look at these bad people. I'm taking a picture of it so I could go and report it."
Yeah. But even merely agreeing with the current thing or the message gets you into trouble. Would you mind if we just scroll down just a little bit, just so I can read the top part? There we go. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. A pensioner was questioned by police for a hateful incident after taking a picture of a sticker that said, "Keep males out of women-only spaces." The retired social worker was looking at a transgender flag-themed poster in
Hebden Bridge.
Hebden. Sorry, I can't even say it. West Yorkshire, which carried the slogan, "Stand by your trans."
Sorry, please, can I say something? I've been to Hebden Bridge.
Oh, yeah?
It's wonderful.
Yeah?
It's really beautiful.
I've never been.
It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah?
I think Yorkshire is beautiful in general, but Hebden Bridge is particularly good. And it was fun because there was one lady there, really old lady. It was all tourists. There was one really old lady keeping it real with a Free Palestine flag.
Oh, yeah.
No one was paying attention. Hebden Bridge wasn't particularly an urban center.
No, but
just, keeping it real.
Keeping it real there. A sticker had been placed on the top of a poster that said, "Keep males out of women-only spaces," referring to transgender women who were born male. But the 73-year-old was left shocked when several days after she took a picture of the sticker, officers from West Yorkshire Police turned up at her home and recorded it as a non-crime hate incident.
But she was shocked.
She was shocked.
So she was anxious.
There you go. Loophole.
Yeah.
If only she'd have thought of that. The woman, who did not want to be named out of fear of reprisal from activists, told the Mail on Sunday, "They gave me a long lecture about the sensitivity of the issue and how something like this could cause harassment and alarm to the community." And the fact that the government have turned round over the previous years, even Suella Braverman has turned round and said police need to stop recording these non-crime hate incidences. But of course, the police, in their progressive roles and their progressive hiring, are continuing to record these. Yeah. So that was number 4.
Let me just add to this. I think there was a research published by Telegraph 2 years ago that said that around 53% of the victims of hate crime incidents are police officers.
Really?
Yes.
So the victims are the police officers?
Yes.
Interesting.
I have an incident in mind, and I want to see if it's going to be one of your 3 ones.
We'll add it as a bonus at the end. How about that? Okay, number 3. Next one. So this is a new one. Breaking: the rise of the carrier bag police. So Notts Police or Nottingham Police telephoned Karina Queener because she rejected a progressive pride flag carrier bag with the love is love motive, thereby causing the shopkeeper alarm, harassment, and distress, and threatening the shop's status as a trans-inclusive space. So by saying, no thanks, I don't want your pride carrier flag, a carrier flag bag, that's caused alarm and distress to the shopkeeper who offered her that.
By the way, it's okay to shoplift, by the way. Anxiety caused by shoplifting, it's okay. But anxiety caused by these non-crimes is not okay. They should be tough on non-crimes.
I mean, they cause themselves put themselves in such a loophole and pickle these progressive lot. It says, in a 10-minute phone call, which we have heard, the police advised that the customer was now banned from the shop and warned that she must not hand out any form of literature in the shop's vicinity. Yet again, the police are acting as TQI plus enforcers. I mean, so the customer's now been banned from the shop and warned, you must take pride flag carrier bags next time you shop. And if you refuse...
That's one of the beauties of, let's say, freer economies. If you think a shop has gone mental, you stop supporting it.
Exactly. Now you're not even allowed to not support something. So, unbelievable. I believe the next one is number 2. And that's, if we scroll down just a little bit, man lands racial hatred police record for whistling the Bob the Builder theme at a neighbor. Any thoughts on that?
Why is that? I mean,
I don't know the connection.
Okay, I can see. It causes you anxiety.
Yeah.
Because if he's a grown-up man whistling Bob the Builder theme...
I don't understand where the racial hatred theme is, to be honest. I mean, Bob the Builder? I mean, what? Let's read the story just a little bit before I make more of a judgment. A Bedfordshire man has ended up with a police record for racial hatred after whistling the theme tune to Bob the Builder at his neighbour. Police in Bedfordshire recorded the interaction as a non-crime hate incident, which will remain on their file for 6 years. This was 2021, I believe. The record could be disclosed to potential employers, impacting the man's chances of getting a new job. If a potential employer asks for a disclosure and barring service, i.e. DBS check, the non-crime hate incident could show up. So imagine you're applying for a job and they say, right, we're just going to run a DBS check on you just to make sure you're not a criminal. I'm sure you're not a criminal. And they go, yeah, obviously I'm not. And then they say, well, hang on a minute. He's got a racial hatred. I don't want him working for my progressive company. Racial hatred. They're not going to show that, oh, it's because he was whistling Bob the Builder to his neighbor. They're not going to see that. They're just going to see racial hatred flag up. Oh, alarm bells. We can't have him.
And
unbelievable.
Look at the ridiculous phrase, non-crime hate incident.
It's just a non-crime.
I don't know if this is the phrase that the police used when they were announcing the incident. But when they're saying non-crime hate incident, they are saying basically that hate incidents are not necessarily crimes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying
in complete contradiction.
They're saying that it could be crimes. Yeah. And that's the absurdity of it. And that's why this was placed second, in my view, to the most absurd ones. I just want to read that little bit just below the video, actually. The Daily Mail reported few other details about the crime are known, but it's just one of the bizarre cases unearthed by an investigation into the controversial practice of recording hate incidences, even if no law has been broken. I mean, I don't know when this will end. I mean, like we were talking about earlier in the other segment, until the left, or quote unquote the left, or progressives feel the boot of this authoritarian madness, I don't think anything is going to run a conclusion. It's horrible to say. I don't want any anyone on the left to go to jail for something like as ridiculous as that. But there's a part of me that says, well, hang on a minute, you've built this framework. So if you should feel what it's like before passing judgment on something like this, in my view.
It is massive hypocrisy because they have built all this tradition and they have capitalized on all this tradition of civil disobedience.
Yeah.
And now people who are disobedient and they don't like the policies that the progressivists support, suddenly they don't have a right to breathe.
No, they don't. Are you ready for number one?
Wait. Do I need a kind of psychological preparation? Is it PG?
It's a very, very well-known story.
Okay.
Woman arrested for silent prayer. You heard of this? So
yes.
Praying inside of your head. We've all heard of this story. I put this as the number one most absurd non-crimes. Vaughan Spruce. I think I've said her name right. I probably haven't. Is the director of March for Life UK and helps support women in crisis pregnancies. She's regularly prayed near abortion clinics for over 20 years. This sparked a huge debate when it came out, where she was arrested for simply praying in her own head in what is called a buffer zone that we have in the UK, which I never knew existed actually until this particular incident happened, where I believe a buffer zone is for abortion clinics to stop any protests or to stop any sort of, I think they class it as some kind of ASBO, which is like antisocial behavior, laws against anyone trying to do that. And standing outside of the abortion centers and just thinking about things or praying is considered a breach of an ASBO. I mean, I want to get your thoughts immediately. You know of this story, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think there have been many such stories. It's not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, what's more to say? And that is one of the main issues with culture wars, because usually I like going to the meat of the issue. There is no meat there. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just nonsense. But it is dangerous nonsense.
It is dangerous nonsense.
That's the
problem.
The problem is that we can laugh with nonsense, but when it becomes dangerous, it's a problem then. It's not so funny anymore. And I would say that I don't see how it can end.
Yep.
Because for me, progressivism and minority groups and pressure groups, they are basically a feature of divide and conquer by politicians.
Yes.
The politicians who think that they have lost touch with the will of the people and what the people of their own countries want. They do want to change the mix of the electoral system, and they want of the population who votes, and they want the political support of more people. That's why they want to change the mix.
Yeah.
And a way of constantly playing one group against the other with obviously incompatible groups is a way of ensuring chaos, but also in the population, and helping for extra domination.
Of course.
Because suddenly everyone is afraid to speak. Suddenly everyone is afraid to criticize things.
Yes.
And what is unbelievably worrying is if we bear in mind the kind of anti-free speech laws that are being pushed forward in Ireland right now.
Yes.
If that could definitely happen here, where they constantly say that it is not just the possession. No, it's not the dissemination of, within quotation marks, hateful content, but it's also the possession of it that should be penalized.
Well, we already have the Communications Act of 2003, which can prosecute anyone for holding grossly offensive material on devices. So if you have like a spicy meme, you can be fined. I mean, that's how they got Count Dankula. I think everyone knows Count Dankula on this show. So it's worrying. It's worrying. What we should have done in this country is repealed back Tony Blair legislation. And the Tory government has had 13 years to do so, but they've not done it. They've done nothing. So I don't hold my breath that this is going to go away anytime soon. as much as, some of it is very comical because it's so absurd, is the point of it. It's also a realization of we're in some deep, basically.
It's a problem. And I would say that this is exactly why discussion and disagreement and debating is important.
So important.
And the people who want to talk about hate speech and constantly invent categories like hate crime and whatever, they have the presumption of infallibility. They think they know everything, and anyone who would dare question their views should basically not be allowed to exist or have any rights.
Yeah.
And should be placed in jail. And I want to say that one thing that is unbelievably pernicious, and I will tie this back to you, the main point of your segment, is that the category of hate crime is an invention by the police, by a police that has been changed from within, bureaucratically, and is not concerned with the public good as much as with virtue signaling. And this creates a problem because lots of serious crime is on the rise, like murder, burglary, drugs, shoplifting. All these are really important crimes. And the police needs to show some data that they are doing something. So they have invented this silly category, the hate crime,
to look like that they are
to look
doing,
as if they're doing
something
more than they are actually doing. So they're saying we're tough on crime. We're tough. And when you ask them what is crime, what is exactly the type of crime you're
hate crimes. No, but pulling people off Twitter, arresting people for saying mean things.
Yeah, arresting people for praying, arresting also 16-year-old autistic drunk children for
for saying Nana lesbian. You look like my Nana lesbian.
My Nana lesbian, and dragging them out of the house as if
I'm laughing.
Oceana.
It's not funny, but it's just so absurd that we sometimes just have to laugh.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, why not visit our website where you can get the podcast live, in full, uncensored, and for free from 1 o'clock UK time every weekday. And while you're there, why not access our premium content for as little as £5 a month, such as Bo's series, Eekpox, where in this episode he talks to Carl about the 7 Years' War. And if you'd like to keep up with what Bo's putting out, you can follow Bo on Twitter at HistoryBro1 and the rest of us over at LotusEaters_com. Till next time, goodbye.